No. Okay, hold on. Now I'm gonna make this video and I'm gonna be as fucking honest about every fucking little thing as I can so I can get back into topics of worth. And every once in a while it's necessary because you get caught up with life. Life happens to you, and what can happen to you is it can coach you with so much stress that it doesn't matter what you're fucking. There's so many ways to communicate. And really, all I'm saying, my point of view and my channel is just that we are beings of immense power. There are so many ways of doing things. And the way the world is set up, it is so fake. It is so divorced from the actual power that we have and have access to at any time that it feels like a burden not discussing some of these things as I've discovered them throughout my life. Alright, like number one, I'll tell you, first off, here's one of the main issues. I need a new toilet. I've discussed it. It's been kind of funny, the journey that you go through when you can't use your own toilet because it's fucked and you need a new one. And it's not that difficult of a thing to change and do. It's not. It's really not. Sure, it could go wrong, and sure, it's shitty. But it's a symbol of one of the most basic things in life. That's why they call it a throne. Okay? So, right across from the railroad tracks up here, there is one at the end of the driveway. Perfect looking. Yesterday, no sign. Just a toilet sitting there. And I've been seeing it and I'm like, I want to get it. It wouldn't be at the end of the fucking driveway like that if it wasn't being given away. Now today, not only is it at the end of the driveway, most likely still there, and I had to ask my buddy, and I was like, look, I know. I'm like, I don't want to have to spend $100 or $50 on a toilet if they're giving one away right there. You know what I mean? What kind of idiot are you not to take the signs? Life does this to us all the fucking time. You're a liar if you say it doesn't. You're a liar. That's bottom line. God's honest truth. You know it. I know it. Let's cut the bullshit. Now it has a sign. After I discussed it with Don, because Don's got a truck, he cleaned it out. He had to go across town to do some work, so he's not around. It's not something. And today, on the way, let me tell you what happened. Two separate things altogether. When I was at work, I should have charged the battery on the thing. Because, it died. It does not have the range that it says at all. Because if I'm supposed to be able to go 65 miles on a battery, I haven't even got 20 on the odometer yet. I'm still at 22. I haven't made it nowhere to that. Now, I didn't charge it while at work. Before I got to the tracks, that motherfucker died. And it was like, when it's dead, it's like in first gear. You can barely stand up on it and get the wheels to fucking go. Changing the gears wasn't doing shit. It would just fucking get back in that bind and you couldn't do it. I didn't want to fuck with the brakes and all that shit. But here, I did have a problem. Before I even got to that point, let me tell you what happened. I fucking was crossing the street and trying to get across real fast over in the town area to by the church. And one of the bushes that was too much into the thing, I couldn't cut it quick enough and it knocked me the fuck off, which I'm okay. I wasn't fucked up by it. It didn't lead anything. It's not why the battery's dead, you know what I mean? But of course I felt stupid, but I just got on and kept going. No big deal, you know what I mean? That's gonna happen the first time you ride something and you're trying to push it and move around, and I'm trying to get the fuck to my house and get in my bed. I'm tired, So it completely just knocked me off the fucking bike. Bike goes over, you know, it's, you know, and I'm fine. But of course, I spill my drink that's in my backpack closed up. It opens up and spills everywhere. You know, all the minimum bullshit jazz. Getting from the tracks to home, you know, I had to push it at sometimes, and it's like pushing it with the brakes fully on. It's not even trying to go. You know, I was having fucking the memory of the lawnmower because that was sort of the situation it was into whenever it was fucked up. And I don't want to get in any vehicle in that fucking state to where I can't even push a fucking wheeled vehicle to wherever. Got it charged now, but I mean, I parked it out here and left it and walked in and went to sleep. Put it in my own woods. Because number one, I'm working at night. I don't like working at night. I don't give a fuck what, you know, I'm happy to be working. But I don't like fucking working at nighttime. I like that there's not public. I like that. Some of it, it's already, the things about it that are tedious and not easy to solve, even despite the complexity of all the things they've done to make it so simple, you know, they're already showing up big time of how it will be. You know, if you do it wrong, you do it wrong. And you don't really know, you know, they have the things all mapped out. But on none of those things can I read the labels. You know, if I go to the thing, okay, I can find a number. If I want, today I got to the point where I can find the number on the thing and then look for that. I mean, and it's just, if you're trying to go fast, it's either way you go, you're X'd out. So yeah, there's a physical way to fucking identify what the fuck is that, like, what is that product? You know, it's like you're looking at blurry little pictures, highly detailed of actual like cans of stuff, you know, with different words on the labels, and you need to have them in the right spots. Besides the point. And here's another thing. A lot of people get freaked out by the topic of God, you know, and rightly so. God is a hot topic. You know, your relationship to God. I honestly believe every person on their own, it's up to them to have their own concept of God, and you need it. Let me tell you why you need it. Because if there is something even possible in this world to do good, to know what to do, to be able to do it, to have the power to do that, that is a supernatural fucking thing. That is source. You know? And your concept and relationship to it, if you believe it exists, psychologically changes and allows you to be guided. You know, you might argue with that. But look at the atheists. You know what I mean? What can they come together about? They're already complaining about, well, when you don't have a thing that you actually believe, when it's like, you know, I don't have the thing. It's just I don't believe. You know, they can't come together. They can't rally. They can't do shit. You can't even magnetize or galvanize the lack of a belief. And what is the belief ultimately in? Well, it's in you. But see, man can't do shit. Man can't do nothing because there's no way. We have the ability to have, we can do great things together, sure. But ultimately, can we even know what's going on? No. No. You can only take under your best advisement what the fuck you think you should act. You know, when you try to draw near to God, God will pull you away. You are in a constant tempering on, because you're never gonna know. And you're not able. Man's not pulled nothing off. You know? I was listening to Zeph, and Zeph's got a lot of insight into the gang stalking and like the evil side of the world. Very wise on that. And he was talking about like Stephen King. Stephen King has become so political. He used to be such a good writer, but he's always been like a popcorn for the mass fucking style writer. That's why anytime you see politics and people just freak out and they get so political, it's because they've compromised. And it doesn't matter what side it is. When you can't entertain the opinion or the alternative of someone else, you've been fucking compromised. And that's insight to the relationship of what God is doing with people and what happens to you when you go through the process of, I didn't want to say that I was knocked off my bike, but I have to, because that's part of life. What part of me that avoids that, my ego, just wants me to feel like, I'm on top of the world. And I'm not. I'm not the fucking shit's fucking caboodle. I'm not the fucking, all that in a bag of chips, I am a human. You know what I mean? And some of the things that I go through, as I experience it, I realize where I've grown in myself. And a lot of times when I actually have had the growth, I forget it. It's not until I open myself up again that I feel like, oh, you really don't want to have that experience. You know what I mean? Like Max, I love her to death, but I made it abundantly clear to her that I'm happy to be able to help her. I'm happy that at this time, now, when I get half my money divided from me, that this is the time that, she's on her own, she's got her own stuff. It's not like she's with some guy, and she's keeping my kids from me. She doesn't know how to integrate the relationship between me and my kids. She doesn't know how to do it, and she's done it wrong. She hasn't been a steward of fucking my relationship to my children at all. She hasn't fucking gave a fuck. You know what I mean? She was too busy trying to make it in her own life. You know what I mean? But that's number one. That's not an off. That doesn't, neither one of us get a credit for anything in that return. You know what I mean? I could have probably killed her fucking if I didn't have the little bit of snap that I've got. I gotta go. I want to go get this toilet. Let me go get my shoes on.